Hola, everyone, and welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosty Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. First up, we have award-winning organizer, independent journalist, and Oscar-winning film producer Rosa Alicia Clemente sharing her experiences ranging from running a historic vice presidential campaign to fighting and exposing colonialism. Then our BronxNet reporters give us a look at a local community restoration project led by a father and son transforming their neighborhood, along with a new mural installed on East 138th Street in the South Bronx to foster some community pride. And finally, our Open Artist Spotlight shines on award-winning Afro-Boricua playwright and cultural producer Nicco Diaz, who shares why he uses theater and poetry to amplify underserved voices across New York City. And he closes us out through a personal poetry performance. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, because now we are officially open. And hey, everyone, welcome back to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosty Café con Leche for the next hour, coming to you from BronxNet Studios, inviting you to get social with us online. Follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget, while you're there, follow moi on all social media platforms at Rhina Valentin. Our first guest today is a Bronx-based scholar activist who has been a leading voice on the front lines of Black and Latino liberation, founding grassroots nonprofits and media collectives such as PR on the Map. She made political strides as the first Afro-Latina to run on a vice presidential ticket as a Green Party candidate for Cynthia McKinney's 2008 presidential campaign. And from organizing national tours to associate producing the Oscar-winning film Judas and the Black Messiah, and now her recent production work on Mataron a Pedro, she continues to uphold herself as a prominent political and cultural advocate. She is currently completing her PhD at the W.E.B. Du Bois Center at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and is taking some time to be here with us today to share her journey with us. Everyone, please welcome Rosa Alicia Clemente.
Yay. Thank you for having me.
Oh gosh, and that was just a summarized version of everything that you continue to contribute to our society. And I like to consider you an eye-opener, sister, because really you are. You are. Thank you for making the time to be here with us in studio.
Absolutely. I think it's very important that people understand what you have been doing for over 25 years. And I remember meeting you, signing up for your list, and 25 years later, I still get your newsletter. And I love and I appreciate you. And I want to see more of us, particularly Boricua women, you know, on the other side of the stage too.
Yeah, well, I think it's important that we control the narrative, right?
Absolutely.
Which is what we're going to discuss today. I mean, you, and I call you the eye-openers because, I don't know, for some people you may be a little combative, right? You may be controversial, right? In the sense that you're very clear about your messaging. And the fact of the matter is that you leave a lot of room for people to really sit with what it is that you're addressing, although it may not be popular. And I love that about you. I really do.
Yeah, I've never been popular, you know, in that sense. You know, look, I'm a historian. I've loved history since high school. in my bachelor's at SUNY Albany, my master's at Cornell, and now my PhD, Black studies, Pan-African studies, has always embraced me more than Latinx studies, maybe Puerto Rican studies, some department, you know? But I always think about something that Bell Hooks said, and she talks about being born on the margins, and I think a lot of us are born in the margins, and some may die on those margins, right? So for me, the historical record is so clear, right? Like when you actually understand history, that I always tell people I'm not wrong. Like I'm giving you a fact that has been fact checked. You're in your feelings, I get that.
Right.
I have my feelings too. But I think for me, history is also why it's the first study that's taken away or the first one that's attacked.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go back to the original article. I think that, I think made you extremely popular, and that is everything with you is anti-blackness, right? But it's also the identity of identifying as Black,
Right.
and you being questioned as to why you identify as being
Right.
Black.
Yeah. So I wrote an article called Who is Black? It was written 25 years ago. And then quickly after that, I wrote another article saying that Russell Simmons is not hip hop because I already kind of got vibes that he was a sexual abuser. And that's came out to be true.
Right.
There's enough documentation. But when I wrote the Who is Black, it was a great time. I just moved to Brooklyn. I joined the Malcolm X grassroots movement. Then I'm in Flatbush. We're doing Cop Watch before. But when I say Malcolm X grassroots movement, that's my political home. The reason we exist is because we never became a nonprofit.
Right.
Right? That's why we have chapters. So I just was in a meeting and somebody that's lighter than me was like, oh, Rose, I get it. Yeah, maybe you're of African descent, but you're not really Black. And my response was like, your mom is white from Germany.
Right.
Like, who is Black?
Right.
Right? And at that time, I said the term anti-Blackness, and I said Black Puerto Rican. The response for 2 decades, well, let's say 15 years after, was a lot of hatred, you know, especially in the Latino community. I would be asked to go to events and like, oh, Rosa, you know, yes, police brutality, Amadou Diallo, you're doing this. Can you not say, though, that you're a Black Puerto Rican? So if you ask my daughter, you're Rosa's daughter, how does your mom, what'd she say? My name is Rosa Alicia Clemente. I'm a Black Puerto Rican woman who loves hip hop, who was born in the Bronx when hip hop was birthed, right? Some people may call me Black Puerto Rican. Some may just say Boricua. Some may say Afro-Latina. I'm good with all of that. I want people to understand that 25 years ago, we're now seeing kind of the fruits of not just my work, but building off Dr. Maita Moreno Vega,
Right.
building off my mentor, Dr. James Turner, building off the Schomburg, building off the fact that in the late 1800s, Puerto Rico population was 67% African. So the more I learned, I then began to attack what I call the 1/3 theory. First is what people are going to say, we're all Puerto Ricans, period. It don't matter. Go to Puerto Rico, see who's in the kitchen. Then tell me it doesn't matter. Remember that one time in your family when somebody said, you don't want to go out there, you're going to get too dark. You know, straighten your hair, cut your hair. No quiero esa cosa.
Right. Don't
be who you are. Now, my parents, you know, my dad to this day has a business, 61 years, right down the street. So when my mom moved us to Westchester County, because really the 80s, the Bronx was burning, crack, heroin were taking my family members. My mom's like 20 miles, 2 different worlds. A little village, Elmsford, New York. We were the only Latino family. I went to high school. I was the only Latina. But my school was half white and half Black with 37 people in my class. So we really also knew each other. That boy, I go to college and I get politicized and I'm bringing this kind of stuff, you know, to my parents. My mom's like, you're never going to get a job. What are you going to do with that? But the thing, too, all these experiences have brought me closer to my dad than I had ever been. Because he's like, mira, I grew up in Puerto Rico. ¿Qué esta cosa? What? oh, they assassinated, Filiberto and who's Los Machateros and the Young Lords, Rosie. I said, I grew up in the Bronx. I didn't even read Malcolm X, so I went to college, right? So all of that is what I try to encompass. And I think I've always been a little ahead of the time based in Pan-African studies and having a political knowledge, particularly of Frantz Fanon, who to me is the most and should be revered to this day for his work around decolonization. So then I'm Black, right? And like I said, it was always more Latino, I would say moderates, but sometimes they would just be like, oh my God, you gotta talk about, yeah, I'm gonna talk about who I am every day of my life because I got to the party late and I'm catching up.
Got it.
And that's how I've always felt.
Yeah, no, and you're very passionate about it, and you have a whole course around it, right? Because you just gave you gave us tidbits of what it is that you're going to be offering online, right? Because you said this 1/3 theory, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the part Mira.
Right, that's all good because the 1/3 theory is the half African, half European.
1/3 European.
Oh, right.
So like, you'll even see some T-shirts and they'll be like, Boricuas, all the races, and they'll have like this kind of messed up image of the indigenous person, then the European, and then the African. The African is the least talked about, right? Because who wants to acknowledge that as Puerto Ricans, even though we're American citizens, we're not afforded citizenship. So for me, that 1/3 theory is almost like an article came out like 10 years ago that said the perfect human woman comes from Puerto Rico. And I'm like, right, the 1/3. The J-Lo. I mean, well, J-Lo's never going to say anything, when it comes to race or that, which is, it's just like, we've been clear on that for decades.
Right.
But all that 1/3, right? And then when people want to talk about the other ones, they also want to just regulate that African, particularly to culture. The same that happened at the Bad Bunny show, where people are like, yo, the slave, the sugar cane, they were Black. Yeah, actually, they were Black.
Right.
Like, those were enslaved people, but how it always seems to me people want to definitely embrace indigeneity, not so much Spanish, but the Blackness. It's not just the culture, it's a politic of our people. And the best way I can explain it is we've been a colony since 1898. Like African Americans, we're American citizens, and like African Americans, we're not afforded citizenship in this country. And now we're at a point where rights that have been won are all being stripped away. So I think it's always important to ground yourself in who you are, be very clear on us as Boricuas, as resistance fighters, right? What they've done to our people is treacherous. And I think we got to even step up right now and be like, you know what? Y'all been taking a lot from us from 128 years. We need reparations from the United States government. Your debt, we're never going to pay it, right? Now, these are things hard when you're a colony. But the relationship for me with Puerto Rican and African Americans, I've seen it and it's beautiful. And I always think in these times, people are still trying to kind of divide us. And then this 1/3 theory just does not give you a political understanding, because until you understand white supremacy, everything will confuse you and you will think you did something wrong, as opposed to saying systemically, all of this is wrong and one person can't change a system.
Right.
Yeah. Once you have that, the next part of it is you're going to have to be who you are when everybody's on other sides. Right? When everybody was like, you're crazy for running on the Green Party, what are you doing? You're a disgrace. Mentors cut me off. People I went to jail with, I lost all my gigs. I didn't get a job for 3 years, right? People were so angry at me. And my whole thing was like, we were never winning. Like, that doesn't say we shouldn't. For me, it was because at that time, we had a hip-hop political convention. We had 6 years of them. The first thing we wanted is to make sure that Ras Baraka became mayor of Newark. He's been mayor of Newark. For me, I was like, oh, wait, you want me to run where I can speak about a hip-hop political platform all around this country? I'm in. And as opposed to people saying that was a hip-hop platform. the hate, but also the misogyny and
Right.
the patriarchy, because honestly, if it was two brothers that had run, people might have said, you're not going to win, but they would have supported them, right? In 2008.
Right. And meanwhile, it was two women of
Yes,
color.
and Cynthia McKinney. Yeah, and to this day, we are the only ticket of women of color on a ballot
Yeah.
in presidential elections.
In history.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm listening to you, and I could listen to you all day, and I find you so extremely fascinating because you don't really care about the popularity,
Yeah.
right? What your interests lie in sharing the truth and informing people to the level of understanding. Well, here's the information, and you do what you have to with that.
Exactly. I mean, look, people might not think this, but I was quiet for a long time in my childhood. And I reverted to reading all the time, like even the cereal box. And I would ask my mom, drop me off at the library. That, and where I fell in love with history. Then I went to SUNY Albany. Then I'm like, why don't I know this about myself? Like, how don't I know why Boricuas are citizens? Did I ever have that conversation? My mom, I was bilingual, but I spoke more Spanish. But when we moved to this little suburb, my mom, in all her love for me, didn't want me to feel different. So every day in school, I would get pulled out of 5th grade and forced to be in a room with a white woman who was awful to me. And then I was being bullied, you know, and all of these things. But like those last 2 years of high school, I found out about the 5 percenters, the Nation of Gods and Earths, and of course then hip hop. So at least I was like, whoa, I need a lot. So when I got to school, you know, people were like, you need Puerto Rican studies. And I was like, I absolutely need that in Black studies. And that's why I've been a scholar activist in that field. And I think in order for Black studies to keep building, they now have to embrace the almost 10 million people in this country who are, quote, Latinx. Given an opportunity to say Black as a race, they would do that. We don't have the opportunity because we're not even in the demographics.
Got it.
Right?
Yes.
So if there's 65 million Hispanic, Latinx people in this country, 1/4, that is 15 million of us. We have hardly any representation at any kind of table.
So before we run out of time, because we kind of like touched upon everything that you're including in this virtual workshop that you're offering, right? What do you hope to leave people with, right? So here they take this workshop with you, and from what I'm reading here, it's like it's about political education and grassroots community organizing, and then best practices to root out anti-Blackness in yourself, family, and community. Ending the myth that Puerto Rican is third Spanish, or third African, or third indigenous, and then there's decolonizing your mind. You have specifically and deliberately chosen these topics. What are people intended to leave with?
So the Black Puerto Rican radical tradition, it sits in its 5th form. There's a fee. And for 4 sessions, people have given me money. So first and foremost, the fact that people are paying. And I don't want people to think this is just college students. I've had 16-year-olds and then a 74-year-old in Puerto Rico. I have Boricuas in the military from France who have taken it, you know. And my goal is, as I was doing this, it has helped me write my dissertation, which is the exact title. And then I say the Black Puerto Rican radical tradition and hip hop as a site of resistance for that. And I'll tell you, every session has gotten better. I've had people cry. I've had people break down. Then I have people who were like, I finally confronted my family. I feel free. I've had elders be like, I never thought of that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that to my granddaughter, right? So the whole point is, as we decolonize lands, we have to decolonize our mind. And then anti-Blackness, and I'll keep this as short as I can, because when people say, what does that look like? I'm gonna give you an example that just happened yesterday. Derica on August 9th of this past Sunday was the 14th anniversary of the killing of commemoration Mike Brown. I covered Ferguson. I've been there. I've been detained, arrested, along with hundreds of people. Ferguson didn't just end. It was 500 days of sustained resistance, and then the state took all those young people out. 3 brothers died, and nobody knows why. 2 sisters disappeared. These were frontline Ferguson. Okay. So I then watch a Sunday show, and I see Congresswoman AOC. And he asked her, do you agree with all the positions around abolishing police, defunding police, and abolitionists? She said, no, I don't believe that anymore. What I know now is that that was just COVID rhetoric. So the sister who wrote it is from Ferguson, and she basically is like, Mondani and her are trafficking in the worst way. Both of them then double down together and say, we want to work with police, prisons have to be built, crime has to go down. These are people who literally ran on, quote, progressiveness. But you know what? Democratic Socialists of America are 85% white. AOC, Mondani never used the word black, Latino, nothing, because they're old school socialists from the old crowd, the Bernie Sanders, who like working people, working people. Well, when you don't say black, you went to talk about working people. So both of them, and then I had to say something yesterday, and my phone's been blowing up. But that is the example of anti-blackness. It's not racism. Anti-blackness can be fixed by you apologizing and then doing the work. But why did both of you not talk? You didn't say housing shouldn't have vouchers, education. You both doubled down on policing. It's a disgrace. And this is the reason why some African Americans will be like, yo, I know you ain't racist, but it's mad anti-black. You're talking about a prison system that started within slavery. Okay? It's the number one thing that you ask all young people, elders, how are they feeling about them? They're afraid. Right. So how do you do this? And the reason she said it is because she's going to run for president. And she thinks she's going to get the nomination. And sadly, let me just end on this. Y'all going to, right? I just want people to be clear this November, if you think that Trump is not going to have ICE out there, I really want people to think, why would any Latino in this country that can vote would want to go to a polling station with ICE there?
Got it. Yeah.
And it don't matter if you're a Boricua. They don't care about that. They're
Right.
like, you brown, we're going to lock you up. Y'all figure this out. Watch this November elections. And I would end on this. We've never gotten our freedom through voting from somebody. All the greats in our community, unfortunately, were assassinated and incarcerated or lived lives of legacy and racial and social justice. As a Boricua, I'm in that path, and I'm glad to walk that path, and I hope that a lot of other people get on that path. So ClementeRosa@gmail, hit me up. I'll get you in, and, let's go.
And I'm sending you lights.
Let's go.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Y'all heard it right here. That was Rosa Alicia Clemente saying it like it is, really. Yeah, I mean, for real. That's a lot to digest.
I'm always a lot.
But it's all good. It's all good. It's important for us to think about it.
Yeah.
It's about processing.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you so much for
Thank you
coming
so much
all
for
the way
having
down
me.
here in studio to be with us.
Absolutely, anytime.
And you guys, once again, if you want to learn more and dive deeper into her story, registration is officially open for Rosa's 5-week virtual seminar, The Black Puerto Rican Radical Tradition, which we just gave you a taste of. And that's going to be happening every Sunday from 1 to 3 p.m., beginning September 13th through October 11th, 2026. And also be sure to visit her official website at rosaclemente.net and follow her on IG and LinkedIn at Black Puerto Rican PhD. All right, we're going to take a short break, mi gente, but when we come back, we're bringing you 2 special BronxNet reports revolving around local projects led by community members, changing their neighborhoods for the better. All right, don't go anywhere. everyone, and welcome back to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, and well, we've still got plenty in store for you. And right now, we want to focus on a powerful and uplifting story unfolding in our local neighborhoods. It's all centered around a community restoration project started by a father and son who decided to stop waiting for change and start building it themselves. BronxNet's Nova Bahamante reports.
A dynamic father and son duo put together the Community Restoration Project to be the change that they wish to see in the world.
I just started a company called Solar Legacy Productions because I wanted to do a documentary on my dad. But along with wanting to do a documentary on my dad, it was about continuing his legacy. And there's nothing more than he's done other than boxing, than community work. And so I wanted to make sure that although he is strong, a strong 83, that I would be able to continue his legacy or at least make it stronger while he's still with us. I was just thinking about doing something in this yard that me and my friends grew up in, because it's pretty plain. I wanted to give kids more of an option, or at least something visible that would attract them to have some fun, because this is not what we grew up in. We had more tables, we had more benches, we had actually a jungle gym there. The foundation of it all is making sure that my dad is recognized for his work in boxing in the 60s and the 70s. That's really important to me, because anyone that knows me knows that my dad is my superhero.
I started this many years ago, about 49 years ago. Before Kelvin born, all these kids they born in this neighborhood, in this building, especially in this building, and another one. I'm so happy to see all these guys now back. They used to be little kids, now they're 20, 40 years. I'm so happy. I'm more gonna come, more happy I feel. I'm so happy that I see my daughter, my grandson, and to learn, to teach how to learn to help the people and do the best thing for the neighborhood. What you born. Never forget where you're born. Some people, they forget, but we don't forget. All these kids, they don't live over here anymore. They live in Jersey, Connecticut, and today they come over here to do this for the neighborhood.
It's been great, like wonderful. All these people out here, they've been helping us share the name, they've been helping us spread out the name of Haranfel Manjanet, my grandfather, my father's dad.
I love my community, I love my neighborhood, I love my friends. We are a band of brothers. We were born and raised together. And Haran had a lot to do with providing that safe space and that platform for us to just be us, for us to enjoy each other, and for us to develop our relationships and become the brothers that we are today. What I would love is someone to see this work, for other communities to see this work and probably enlist us, contact us, so we could come and help them to improve their community just like we're improving ours.
The cross-generational project brought together old friends and new for a great cause. Reporting for BronxNet, I'm Nova.
Love that. Yes, here's to restoration. Thank you, Nova. All right, it is truly inspiring to see what can happen when just a few people come together to take action and uplift large changes in their community. All right, our next story brings us over to East 138th Street in the South Bronx, where a recently unveiled mural titled Reflections of Us is making waves as a heartfelt tribute to local residents, honoring the history, resilience, and diversity that defines our borough. BronxNet reporter Ashley Delero has the details.
A new mural is adding color and community pride to the South Bronx. Reflections of Us now stands on East 138th Street as a tribute to the people who call the neighborhood home.
Reflection of Us mural basically represents the community, and it gives back to the community. When people see it, I want them to feel that they have joy. They can take pictures with it, they can smile with it.
Artists say Reflections of Us celebrates the diversity, history, and resilience of the Bronx while creating a welcoming public space for everyone.
I just want them to have a little more joy than they came here with. I'm not a fan of gray walls anywhere, so I think we should have uplifting, positive imagery everywhere we look. The more we exist in the city, the more we need these little refuge spaces to go and have some green space and just have a little bit of peace of mind.
Local leaders hope the artwork will inspire conversation, strengthen community connections, and serve as a lasting symbol of neighborhood pride.
The inspiration is basically to give back to the community and for the community to feel welcome and also to feel a part of what the mural represents.
Reporting for BronxNet, Ashley DeLeon.
Love that. Thank you, Ashley. I always love seeing art putting life and history directly onto our streets. Bravo. All right, don't change that channel. When we come back, we sit with a major voice in the New York City art scene, award-winning Afro-Boricua poet, playwright, and brilliant mind behind the Bronx-based open mic series, Poetry and Potions. Nicco Diaz is with us. You don't want to miss. Don't go anywhere.
19.7% of Bronxites currently experience food insecurity. Meanwhile, instead of these nice, colorful foods, this is the best food that they have access to. If this sounds like you, there are a bunch of resources to get healthy food for free or cheap. If you want to help, you might consider donating or volunteering in one of these places. Community fridges like this one are all over the city and allow New Yorkers to conveniently donate extra food to people who might need it. Go to this link and find your nearest one. Food banks and pop-up events like these provide millions of healthy meals to families in need. These organizations are distributing meals to Bronxites as we speak and are always accepting donations and volunteers.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Open. And bueno, our next guest is a multidisciplinary artist who is bringing radical joy, deep history, and community-centered storytelling to stages all across New York City. From teaching with Lincoln Center to creating Poetry and Potions, the iconic Bronx-based open mic series amplifying BIPOC and LGBTQ voices, his work celebrates the beauty and complexity of all things Bronx. Everyone, please welcome cultural poet, playwright, and producer Nicco Diaz. Hello and welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Welcome back, I should say.
Yes, happy to be back.
OMG, Nicco. Oh my goodness, we are so proud of you.
Thank you, Rhina. I really appreciate that.
I mean, first of all, you know that we try to highlight everybody's journey as often as we can, right? We've been capturing you almost annually, annually. No, but, I mean, from your beginning roots to the publishing of your book to now, I can say, winning the Cultural Vision Award presented by Bronx Council of the Arts, where I serve on the board. Yeah. And also community, you won another award.
Community Engagement Grant.
A Community Engagement Grant. And I'm saying all of this to say that you have really invested your time and yourself into the reinvestment of our community because you're producing these events while also fostering your own artistry.
Yeah. And this is totally against all better judgment.
What do you mean?
Well, like I remember, you know, I think there's sort of like the ebb and flow of art, right? It's like it shrinks, contracts, shrinks. Like it's like, oh, one day you're like, I haven't slept in like 3 days, like a week, and then the next week you're like, yo, I haven't made money. I gotta eat ramen noodles. And so in one of my times where I'm like, what should I do to like push myself artistically? I remember telling my dad, I was like, oh, Pa, I think I'm going to, start busking on the trains, start performing, because what I love about train performances is that it challenges what we think about theater. Theater is oftentimes thought of something like in a very insular place, and that's a very European, Eurocentric, white supremacist construct. And so challenging that, New York City everywhere is a theater. And so I thought about it, and I was like, Pa, I think I'm going to do this. My dad was like, you need to get a job. And I was like, this, how dare you? So, yeah.
But I get it. I get it because as an artist, you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm challenging myself,
Yeah,
right?
you got to lean into the fear.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, why not? Well, like, what do I have to be afraid of?
It's almost like entrepreneurship.
It's two sides of the same coin.
Right. Well,
really.
eso se llama freelance.
Yeah. It's also very thin line between entrepreneur and unemployed.
Right.
Depending what day of the week, catch me. Yeah.
Right.
But no, it really has been incredible journey, and it wasn't something that I did because I had a plan.
Right.
No, it was, and for me growing up, like, I always had a plan. Go to college, get rich, do all that stuff. But
right, which you did. You went to Cornell,
Yes.
You graduated, right?
Yeah,
And you also just recently did a workshop.
Yes.
You went back to your alma mater.
Yes. Shout out to Cornell, putting money in the alums' pockets.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but also more importantly, like, I was working with HEOP students, which is the Higher Educational Opportunity Program, and I did that program as an undergrad. And so that was literally how I got a full ride to Cornell. They took care of me, and so I've stayed connected with them. And so that mentorship was really full circle. But yeah, I had a very clear path of, like, educationally, what I was going to do. But I knew there was something else that I was wanting to do. I went to college and I studied, Ernesto Quiñones, who wrote Bodega Dreams, was my college advisor. Willie Perdomo came my freshman year, and I still have the anthology that he signed in 2006. And the first time I met him as a proper New Yorican poet, I showed him the book, and I was like, yo, this is, you remember me? He was like, oh yeah, no. But it's been...
But it's lovely that you're bringing it up because
Yeah.
representation matters. And that's
for
really
sure.
what you're alluding to.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, wait a second. If they could do it, I could do it too.
Oh, 1,000%. And seeing, in my freshman writing seminar, Willie Perdomo talking about 125th and Lexington, the Metro North, I was like, hold up. I've never seen this represented in a book like this before. Before that, Piri Tomas, who I read in high school, was the first time I thought of myself as a Black Puerto Rican and could reconcile that. Because, I always checked Black on those applications growing up, but I felt like in between.
Right.
And as Rosa was talking about earlier, like everything, I was like,
yes.
So, the journey has been momentous, and it was something I was trying to avoid, but a calling is always going to call.
Right.
And so it was like either you don't pick up the call and be miserable, or you pick up the call and you do something extremely meaningful. And I feel like that's...
And scary, right?
I mean,
Scary because here's the thing. You're saying, oh, none of this was really planned, but somehow it's unraveling in its own divine time and it's in its own divine way, right? And I've watched you, and we've featured you, and we're actually documenting your journey. I mean, last year, was it last year or was it 2 years that you brought in Un Chin Chin?
It was last year.
It was last year, right? And you're celebrating the anniversary of it?
Yes, we just celebrated the 2-year anniversary of Un Chin Chin,
right?
August 16th. So that is insane to me that it's 2 years old. My baby is already a toddler. And it's definitely in its terrible twos because...
It's terrible twos.
No,
That's hilarious.
because the work, I have distance from it now, so I have a different relationship with it. And it is my first poetry collection, and I love it. And let me pull it out right now.
Well, we're showing images of it anyway, but you can show
these
the
are
hard copy of it.
Yeah, these are the hard copies. And this is the first edition of it. These are the first 300 I made by hand. So I got into bookbinding for this whole process. Shout out to Viajero, who designed the beautiful book cover. And then I got it printed here in the Bronx at Quick Printer Pro.
Nice.
So this was a real community effort. Like, literally, all these folders were donated by my stepmother. And I was like, okay, I got these cool, like.
I remember when you were going through this process, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
I was holding your hand.
You were.
Yeah, you were like, madrina. I was like, okay, I guess I'll be your madrina.
You don't have a choice. I chose you. But no, I really thank you for holding me down through this process, because I was literally like, had red ink on my hands before the book launch party, because they were still drying on the way there.
Oh,
yeah. No, I'm not even joking.
Yeah,
I'm like in the car, like, and then my mother yelled at me at the party because she did the catering. Shout out to mommy. Mwah, love you. The food was so good, but she showed up late. And I'm like, this is my party. This is my moment. And I'm like, mommy, this needs, she's like, Nicco, go away. And I was like, and my friend was like, go to the bathroom. And I had a meltdown. But, you know, that was the scary thing you were talking about. You know, I
remember that time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2 years ago, and look at where you are now.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one aspect of your accomplishments. One. Right? We haven't even dived into Poetry and Potions. We haven't dived into you winning this visual, what is it? The Visionary.
Cultural Visions
you
Fund.
would think I know. I serve on the board. The Cultural Vision Award, which is a really big deal. I mean, you know, I hope you don't mind me sharing with our viewers, but that's a $10,000 grant that you don't even have to account for.
No, yeah, $10,000 to develop a script. So I'm currently in the process of writing my one-person show. I have a solid draft that I submitted for a festival for this fall, the same festival that I won, called Fuerza Fest. And so that has been a whole journey. It's also a lot of pressure, because it's like when you're developing a concept, usually you have that in private. But because it's been, oh, you won a grant, people are like, yo, what's up with the one-man show?
Right,
My father every day.
But it's good because you're being held accountable. Yeah, no. As an artist, you need accountability, because if not, then you're going to keep pondering and going, oh, well, maybe we're going to splash this color on it. And meanwhile, you have a deadline you have to live into.
Yeah. So, you know, like most artists, I do it the day of. I mean, you know.
I'm like, it's like,
But you can't rush genius. No, but it has been kicking my butt. I tell people, like, I'm not working on the one-person show. The one-person show is working on me.
Right.
And it has been, you know, the point of the fund is to allow artists to grow, to develop, and to provide them with opportunity to have time and space to develop it and grow as an artist. And so thank you, Bronx Council of the Arts, for giving me that. And then, yeah, we'll see where it goes. So that's one piece, but then Poetry and Potions is about to enter its 4th anniversary, which is so crazy to me.
And that's another beautiful concept, right? Like it's now a monthly pop-up.
Yes.
It had a residency, but now it has multiple residencies, right? Because now it's up at the Bronx Beer Hall. You also have La Marqueta.
Yes.
And again, the actual community that's surrounded by, that you are amplifying.
Yeah.
I attended one.
Yeah.
I think I was featured in one.
The March one in 2023, 2024.
Yeah, and thank you for that. But really, for me, it was wonderful to experience the next generation of artists and to see the conversations that are being had through that genre.
Yeah, I think a big piece that I know is absent in a lot of the poetry spaces is the intergenerational aspect.
Right.
A lot of time we can get in silos. It's like, oh, these are my people. I'm cool with you. I'll go to your open mic. But no, like, this is truly the work that we're doing. This is called movement building. Right? And so to bring in elders to come in and to share their artistry and talk about their journey of like, this is what your journey could look like. And so having you there was momentous. And we've had
Did
Mariposa.
you just refer to me as an elder on
I
air? Did I just hear that correctly?
I was hoping you didn't notice.
I was like, escúchame, ya yo te dije que I rock with you guys, okay? I roll with you guys. No me habla así.
No, the younger elders?
Okay,
yes,
all right,
the youthful elders.
Okay.
Youthful. Yes.
The youthful elders.
Youthful
Okay, I'll
elders.
accept that.
Yeah, because, you know, we're all children at heart.
Right.
That's what artists are.
For the rest of my life, yeah.
I love that. Crazy.
Fun all day,
always.
every day.
Yes.
No, I mean, you know, I mean that, you know.
Yeah.
Pero no me habla así. No.
That is crazy.
No, but I did really appreciate the fact that you did bring me in as, you know, as an established artist. We'll say.
Thank you.
As an established,
mentoring the emerging artists, the next generation.
Right, and the funny thing is that most people don't realize that I'm a published poet.
And I love that. That was how I first got to know you. artistically. You had me on the show, and then we did a few events together. But to see a part of you that is really representative of your beginnings, the artistry, like listen, like I love the work that you do as an event producer, as a host, but I'm a fan of your poetry first and foremost. And I just connected with it. There's like a similar like feline-ness to you
all day, every
that I
day.
see, and
Meow,
it's
meow.
like Eartha Kitt.
Yeah, meow, meow.
Yeah.
Well, I was just having a conversation
Yeah.
with Rosa off camera about, the nap sessions. I'm like a female gatita nowadays, and you know what? I'm proud of that. I'm
Baja la
like,
lluvia. No. Yo, we got the next cover for your new performance. Bata Kahala. Yo, yes. I see it. I see it. When's your one-woman show coming up?
Yeah, but we're here to talk about you.
Okay,
We're
sorry.
here to talk about you, but I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No vamos a
me
hablar
managing
así.
you, me managing
I
you
know,
always,
otra vez.
always.
I'm like, okay, another one. Pero mijo, well, first we got to work on your
Yes,
one-man
yes,
show, right? Because then you say you have a timeline you got to live into, you got the
Yes,
pressure.
I have all of it.
Let's go back over
Okay.
there. And then there's also the poetry and potions that's happening every single month. And so, again, we also brought up Un Chin Chin because you're celebrating your 2 years anniversary. Who knew, right? Here we are. And you're going to be presenting for us here in our Open Artist Spotlight, right?
Yes.
And so, I don't know, maybe what is this, like your third time presenting here
This is
in
going
our
to be my
Open
third
Artist
time. I
Spotlight?
mean, my first, as we talked about, that I've been here before, but like you're really documenting my journey as an artist. And so my first one was here. This is a very special time to be sort of performing this piece. I actually had another piece planned, but in light of Rosa's just truly inspirational and properly incendiary words, it just was like, I got to do this poem because it's speaking to the moment. And so I hope the connectivity is clear to the audience.
I love that. I love that. All right. So now we've got a thread, a through line.
Yes.
And that's how we're going to conclude.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I was here in the audience and I was like, because, we have to be quiet on set.
Right.
But the truth of what she got to around understanding and reconciling the anti-Blackness present in being Boricua, especially in the United States.
Yes.
Is so part of my journey.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Because
hello.
we're not going to get into my story, but there was a lot of anti-Blackness that I had to really come to terms with in society. Like all of a sudden, once I stepped out of New York is when I realized.
Yeah. Because we go to California and they're like, are you Mexican? Are you white? Like what?
Yeah.
I've gotten Samoan. I've gotten Hawaiian. Like it's an amazing asset to me to be able to confuse people in my ethnic identity.
I mean, okay, if you want to say, what was the language that they would use? Ethnically
ambiguous.
Ambiguous. Yeah. And then there's always, are you mulata? Are you half black? Right? And so it would become a conversation around like, so what does that mean? You're going to treat me differently by identifying that aspect of who I am?
Yeah, it's complicated. I think, at the end of the day, all these labels are made up, right? Like we're all just humans, but the history of anti-Blackness in this country, I think it requires that Boricua say fully throated, I'm black.
Right.
So I totally echo everything Rosa said. It's just something that I don't even often reflected in my poetry as much because a lot of, my poetry comes from a heartache, being gay and dealing with the messiness of being a millennial and going through the artistry journey. But it lives in everything that I do because of how I look, because of what I represent. My family traces its roots to Santurce, the Cimarrones. And there, it was one of the first free black towns in Puerto Rico. And so I didn't even know that until I got a book a few months ago. So I've been on my own journey to really figure out, because I know my New Yorican part, but now digging deeper to understand Puerto Rico. And eventually I want to get into my, African roots really deeply.
So then you should take a course.
I was like, how much is it? Because I'm ready.
Well, the idea really is that we collect information so that our decisions are better informed.
Yeah.
Really. Really, that's what it boils down to, and we need access to it, and that's what we were discussing. Really, at the end of the day, we're talking about the lack of accessibility because it isn't being offered.
Yeah, and it's designed that way.
Right.
And so it's like, how do we work in community to back channel and figure out, like, how do we get the information to the right people? How do we educate people truthfully, but also lovingly sometimes, but also not lovingly sometimes.
Right.
So yeah, it's a journey, and I've been on it since I was first. Right, Piri Thomas is down these mean streets in high school at Manhattan Center.
Right.
I was like, okay, I gotta figure this out, and that's sort of been my life's journey since.
Right, and you know what? And you're gonna keep forging forward, and you're gonna keep creating, and you're gonna keep being influenced by everything that you're surrounded by. So we're happy to bring you here.
Pa'lante, siempre.
Yeah, always. Pa'lante, siempre pa'lante. And I'm so excited to be presenting you again. And once again, thank you. Once again, everybody, award-winning poet, playwright, producer, Nicco Diaz, everybody.
Thank you.
And if you want to stay up to date with Nicco and see his incredible work live, make sure to follow him on Instagram at NiccoDiaz.nyc. And if you're in the city, check out his open mic series, Poetry and Potions, as it expands across NYC with monthly events being held at local community hubs like Bronx Beer Hall and La Marqueta. Pero en este momento, get comfy y prepárate because Nicco is not finished yet. He'll be bringing us an open mic. You got that? Ba-dum-bum. Performance headed your way after this quick break. Don't go anywhere.
What's up, creative family? Discover your voice with BronxNet community media classes. Are you ready to bring your ideas to life? At BronxNet, we offer television production classes for community members ages 18 and over, empowering you to share your vision with the world. Get certified in field production, in-studio production, and our new exciting addition, podcast production. Once certified, you can create your own show to air on one of our 6 TV channels. It all starts with our free Unleash Your Ideas Masterclass, designed to help you plan your show idea and set you up for success on your production journey. This class is offered at the beginning of each month for your convenience. Our dedicated BronxNet team is here to support, encourage, and uplift you every step of the way. Join us and become a part of the creative force that engages and inspires the Bronx community and beyond. Sign up today and start your media journey with BronxNet. Visit bronxnet.org/education to learn more and register. Let's create something amazing together.
19.7% of Bronxites currently experience food insecurity. Meanwhile, instead of these nice, colorful foods, this is the best food that they have access to. If this sounds like you, there are a bunch of resources to get healthy food for free or cheap. If you want to help, you might consider donating or volunteering in one of these places. Community fridges like this one are all over the city and allow New Yorkers to conveniently donate extra food to people who might need it. Go to this link and find your nearest one. Food banks and pop-up events like these provide millions of healthy meals to families in need. These organizations are distributing meals to Bronxites as we speak and are always accepting donations and volunteers.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Open. In addition to being a cultural producer, he's a master of the mic when it comes to spoken word. From the interview chair straight to our stage, he's ready to share a piece of his soul with you. Performing live poetry from his collection, please give it up for the mind of Nicco Diaz.
The title of this piece is Ironworks. Man, my will is iron, wrought in the embry embrace of despair, despite hardships. That blacksmith knew what he was doing when he made me out of blackness, mahogany, ebony, obsidian, a stain so stubborn it obfuscates oblivion. In a country that so desperately wants to forget, wants to redirect, to purge, to bleach out the history of its original sin, to burn down your inner peace, to loot your inner Eden. Gentrify your heart and mind, rot your deep within. Forget all this noise. Give us our billions, give us our trillions, give us our flowers. What is owed? 40 acres and a mule. I demand what is ours. I won't settle for less. I won't be a fool. Exhausted from being the exception and not the rule. Tired of believing I can dismantle master's house using master's tools. I refuse. I refuse. I refuse to be used. Continue to be abused. Bloody, beaten, bruised, and contused. My soul is tired. My mind confused. Bewildered by the notion I am only as good as what I can produce. Reduced to the grinding gurgle of gears in this machine, but I am a queen. I refuse, I object, I rebuke, reclaim, rejoice, 'cause I relish the sound of my own voice. In a world that wants me to be quiet, that so profits off our silence, our complicity, a stock, baby, speak up. Speak up, speak out. I tell myself when every fire of my being tells me to shrink, when the stage calls me, but the world has told me to stay in my seat. Baby, I will repeat, refuse, speak up, speak out. My will is iron, wrought in this embry embrace of fire, despite hardship. That blacksmith knew what he was doing when he made me out of blackness. Poem. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Nicco, oh my gosh, what a wonderful way to conclude. Everyone, Nicco Diaz, and thank you for switching it up.
Thank you, happy to.
Just be in line, or aligned, I should say, with today's topic of discussion, which is about basically self-identity and learning more about oneself. All right, once again, Nicco Diaz. If you want to support Nicco and experience that magic life for yourself, be sure to follow him on Instagram at NiccoDiaz.nyc, or stay tuned for updates and more information on his debut poetry collection, Un Ching Ching. And also keep an eye out for his upcoming events from his production company, Nicco Productions. Wepa. And also, don't forget, he's got his monthly open mic series, Poetry and Potions, at local community hubs, including the Bronx Beer Hall and La Marqueta. And that is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through. And as always, a special thanks to you for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out this episode throughout the weekend, 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin. And from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. All right. Yay!
Thank you.
I love it.